What is going on YouTube? The power of the Shemitah. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to get into the price action. I'm going to show you where Bitcoin will capitulate, where it will drop, and it ties into the S&P because that's the broader market. But guys, I have to say, I don't know if you noticed, but I have the sun reflecting in just a perfect way off of, I don't know, the windowsill or my car hood out front. And it's projecting what looks to be a cross across my face and behind me, which, is interesting since we're talking about the Shemitah, a biblical pattern. I just, or I could be a Marvel superhero if I can cast this shadow just perfectly, be cross face or something. You see that? It's funny. All right, guys. So a lot of people are asking me, hey, Brendan, do you think the Shemitah will play out? I think there's a big misconception of what the Shemitah is because the answer to that question is the Shemitah has been playing out the whole time, guys. So let's just go over this real quickly, looking at the last two bubbles so everybody can have a clear understanding of what the power of the Shemitah cycle is. So the last, I guess since 1973, guys, the last 50 years, we've had 50% decline in 73, 50% decline, I'm talking about the S&P, and .com, 57% in the Great Financial Crisis in '08. So the anatomy of the 7-year cycle, the 7-year apocalypse, which is called the Shemitah, the 7th year being the Shemitah year. Shemitah has an alternate translation. If you guys watched the Jonathan Cahn DVD on my Rumble, the link is in the video description. That's the full DVD. But he tells you the alternate translation, it means release in Hebrew, but it can also mean collapse. So just look at what price did here, and I'll show you where we are now. So what happens in that 7th year, you have your run-ups in these bubbles, okay? What happens in that 7th year, starting in September of that year, is the beginning of the decline. So this, back in September of 2000, was the beginning of the Shemitah. So you're declining this whole time. Now, where we are right now is this blue arrow right here. This is the exiting of the Shemitah year. Now, the reason this is significant, the reason that we're talking about this is because what happens exiting the Shemitah year? Acceleration of decline, back test of long-term resistance, and then the bottom the following year, okay? So for us, that would be 2023. That bottom, this cycle played out in every single bubble that we've had in the last 50 years. Again, the Shemitah beginning in September. Up here, what happens? The whole Shemitah year, the market tops, you have decline. And then when you get to September of exiting the Shemitah year, right here, look at this. Parabolic collapse. This is what I'm talking about, the acceleration of the decline. Because if you look at Bitcoin by itself, guys, Bitcoin trading in this Shemitah year, remember Bitcoin made its top in November, as did the NASDAQ, as did the Russell. The Russell and Bitcoin kissing cousins, topping out 48 hours apart from each other. Bitcoin's down about 75% trading in the Shemitah year, but we're going to see an acceleration of the price drop. And that's what I want you guys to understand, 73.63%. We're going to see an accelerated price drop here at the end of September. So Elul 29, the culmination event, if you watch Jonathan Cahn's DVD, the culmination, the last two bubbles in '08 and in .com, the last two bubbles had the single largest point drop on that day. Doesn't mean it has to play out that way this time. And as a matter of fact, it can't play out that way this time on that day because that day, September 25th, for this year is on a Sunday. So maybe Monday we could see a large point drop, but in general, we're seeing an accelerated decline. And guys, you're seeing it in the markets already. This is the drop. We're approaching Elul 29. We are dropping in all the markets. This is why we shorted these markets, my friends. You short these markets and you make big trades in these marketplaces. Where's my trade? There it is. On the Russell, the 200. And look at this decline. And it's accelerating down. Here is your June bottom. Why is Bitcoin holding up so well? Let's look at that really quickly. Okay, let's go ahead and get Bitcoin here. Let's look at it on a weekly chart. Bitcoin is at 19,000 time of this recording. You can see it's holding this level. You see it holding this level? It's holding up this well because you're waiting for the indices to sweep their June lows. When the Russell sweeps its June low, which is right here, June 16th was your pump candle. We showed this the other day, right? This is the daily time frames. Let me go to the daily time frame here on Bitcoin. June 16th was your pump candle. June 19th was your pump candle on Bitcoin. Like I said, they topped out within 48 hours of each other. They pumped within 48 or 72 hours of each other. They're moving super close, and nobody in the space is tracking Bitcoin to the Russell except me. But what you will have, guys, is when you lose these June lows right here, Bitcoin is going to start its descent towards 10,000. It'll come down as the Russell comes down. And since we have a pattern of where the Russell is going based on our weekly pattern here, remember, Russell is tracking in Dante's descent just like Bitcoin, and based on Fibonacci on the weekly time frame, I have the Russell October 31st weekly candle getting to 1521. You can see it. I mean, look how beautiful this is tracking. This is tracking 100% beautifully. Right now, it's at support of 1715, trading at 1716 on the weekly time frame. When it loses that, it's going to rally. It could bounce around. But by October 31st, I expect 1521 on the Russell, the 618 trend-based fib from the all-time high, and this wave projection down. And then we will get our back test, okay? We will get our back test after 9 weekly candles up, if this pattern holds true, just like on Bitcoin. You can see the Russell's about to hit its 300 moving average. Sweeping this low, when it sweeps it, guys, this will be Bitcoin's descent coming down. Very important to understand that Bitcoin is hovering right now because these indices have not swept their June lows. So you're holding support. So a bunch of guys sent me video clips or asked me to watch, oh man, I forget the guy's name now. I think it's, what is it, Crypto Crew University or University Crypto, the Steve guy. I watched like 2 minutes of his video. Basically, you guys wanted me to watch his video and comment on it. I don't know the guy. I've never talked to him. Sure, seems like a nice guy. But I turned it off after 2 minutes, and I'm going to tell you why. He opens up the video by talking about looking at Bitcoin charts from 2018 using a Gaussian channel, saying, see, we hit down here. Everybody thought it was going lower, it was doing this, it's doing that. If you see somebody analyzing Bitcoin from the perspective of previous Bitcoin cycles, the TA is useless. Again, not throwing shade. I'm just saying that TA is useless. Why, might you ask? Because Bitcoin has only existed in the longest bull run in stock market history. So taking something, you're starting with a false premise. You're looking at Bitcoin TA, Bitcoin historical patterns, fractal patterns, movements, existing in a bull run, the longest bull run in the history of the stock market. We are in a bear market. We are trading in a 3 sigma bubble. We are trading in the 7-year apocalypse. So if somebody opens up with a bunch of charts from 2018, boom, click, turn it off, because it's not going to be valid for this cycle. I can tell you that right now. And a lot of people were asking me, how come I didn't talk about Michael Saylor buying more Bitcoin? And I think he bought another 300 Bitcoin, $6 million. Talk about the proof that being wealthy doesn't mean you are smart. He's buying Bitcoin in the middle of a decline, a global economic collapse as all the central banks around the world are raising interest rates. We are at the beginning of the decline, guys. We're in the first leg of the decline for all assets, including Bitcoin. I want you guys to take away one message from me, Brendan at Market Makers. Anything you want to buy will be cheaper next year. I want you to understand that concept. And we're going to track these things because price moves in waves, just like we have the Russell and Bitcoin coming to a bottom October 31st. Let's go to the Bitcoin chart. October 31st, and then waving up. But everything you want to buy, stocks, cryptos, whatever you want to buy, a home, it will all be cheaper next year. The economy is just now starting to unwind. You are in the first leg of a potential 3-leg downturn. Remember, we have our drawdown targets, guys. This is so important for you to understand. If the S&P plays out the exact same way, go back a couple of videos, we covered these fib levels. Every single crash going back to 1973 has hit the 1.128 fib. And if this crash hits the 1.128 fib, based off of the previous market cycles, you're watching a pattern trading channel, my friends. Based off the previous market cycles, you're looking at a 61.84% drawdown, the expression of 618. Look where we are up here. We are at 37. We're at 37.59, and you're going down to 18.41. Do you understand that? It's getting cut in half from where it is if this plays out. If it doesn't play out, and this is the first time in 50 years it breaks to a different fib level, then you're looking at a minimum of a 50% retracement, still having the S&P going down to 2409, okay? And it's trading at 37.58. Everything you want, if you are only in cash, in my opinion, for what I would do for myself, because I don't give financial advice, everything is going to be cheaper as the market unwinds. And guys, most of the people on TV, I can't get over this Hollywood effect lighting behind me. I mean, it makes me look like a saint. Most of the people on TV are still saying the same thing on CNBC. It's unbelievable. They're coming on saying, well, a recession's not my base case, Bob, for next year. We still think there's a chance of a recession, 50% chance or so. Remember that Jeremy Grantham clip I played you? I'm still uploading that to Rumble, guys, with my comments. I'm trying to make it very detailed for you so you get a lot of information out of it. But a recession, he said, always happens very quickly when the bubble pops. And what did we already have? 2 quarters of negative GDP, yet everybody's still saying, well, we could have a recession mid-2023, end of 2023. And Grantham, just as predicted, because they did this, everything works in patterns, including human behavior. They didn't forecast the recession for the great financial crisis. They didn't forecast the recession for the dot-com bubble. And they're doing the same thing again. Well, we could have a recession, but that would be later 2023. Guys, the market is unwinding because the global economy is unwinding. We just had that conflict in Europe, which I can't say names, just got escalated once again with more troops being called up. Hundreds of thousands more, 300,000 more to be specific. So that's going to go on a long time. We have commodity shortages. We have food prices rising. We have the Fed raising interest rates faster than any level since 1980. And did we talk about the DXY, guys? As predicted, mooning. Look at this. Don't you wish we could trade this here as a crypto perhaps? But look at it, 111.279. Everybody that I listen to, the economists that I follow, not everybody, a lot of them were predicting the dollar falling because of inflation and gold would skyrocket. The exact opposite has happened because they're not looking at the market cycle. Gold went down 34% in the last crash. 34%. We're going to get into targets for everything today, guys, but understand the macro environment. Again, that key takeaway, because so many people message me or leave me YouTube comments or on the Discord asking me the same question. You're not missing out on anything because everything's going to get cheaper. If you don't want to trade, just wait. That's what I would do. I'm advising myself, okay? I'm talking to myself. I would wait until everything really unraveled. The market cycle will repeat. You will have a bottom in the stock market next year, which means Bitcoin's true bottom will also be next year. But in the meantime, for those of you that are watching this channel because you want to trade, we're going to get some nice trades because we're tracking beautifully to our pattern. And when Bitcoin loses its support and comes down to 10,591, again, could land just above it at 12,000, could land below it at Scott Minerd's target of 8,000. We shall see. We have Fibonacci here at 10,591, tracking 100% true. And if you guys want to understand this pattern, watch my video on YouTube called The Exact Date Bitcoin Bottoms. The exact date Bitcoin bottoms. And for the Shemitah stuff, watch the 7-year apocalypse. I show clips. And again, follow us on Rumble. I'm going to upload those key videos there. Be kind of like a playlist for you guys so you can just find this information there, okay? But let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin. Well, actually, let's start with equities because we'll speed through these and then we'll get into Bitcoin and some of these altcoins that you guys were requesting, okay? So looking at, let's look at the Russell first. So the Russell, again, we have our macro pattern, our Gann marketplace pattern. The Russell will terminate down at 700, 697. Again, this is an arbitrary date. I picked September, October of 2023 because it takes time for housing and everything to unwind. That's why I picked that date. We can always move this wave along. But this is the Fibonacci numbers I do believe you're going to hit. And this is 700. Again, a massive 73+% decline from the all-time high. And we're trading at 1715. So you guys that do want to trade, another message for you guys would be, you haven't missed out on all the trades. Don't worry. There are more trades coming. There are big trades coming in all these asset classes when we meet our targets. This will be a massive trade to go to the upside. This will be the trade that you should not miss out on. If this does run up and top out after 9 bars, which would be that January 2nd, I think, what is that, January 2nd, January 9th? January 2nd weekly bars in that 7-day time frame, same with Bitcoin. This is the trade you want to make sure you get in at the top because it makes your life so much less stressful. If you miss this trade and you're messaging me down here, hey, is this a good entry point? Hey, is this a good entry point? Hey, is this a good entry point? Getting into a declining market can be much more difficult than nailing it at peak resistance when this comes back up to retest, as it has in every single bubble crash. Retest the 200 and 233, get some turbulence here, ultimately fail for that next leg down. This is where you want to be in the trade, guys. So if you miss it, I can't help you. I will do my best to help you find spots along the way, but you need to be in these at the top, at the optimum entry point. Your life will be a lot less stressful. Let's look at this on the daily. Daily, of course, we lost this 618 in trading primary fib strategy, the Fisher strategy. What you're doing now is you have a bias to come to the 1 fib at 1670. There's other levels of support in here as well, 786, 886. You'll see them on some of my charts. But primary fib trading tells me that we're going down as a bias to 1670. We're going to wave up and down in here at some point. But remember, you guys are watching this video on a Thursday. So Elul 29 is this weekend. It's Sunday. So interesting to see what happens tomorrow if we get a big candle move down, or if it happens on Monday, or if it's just a continuation of this decline that we've already had. I'm very excited to see what happens. I'm excited because if you guys took any of the trades that I shared here on YouTube, you are in shorts right now, okay? And that's another view on the daily. Let's go ahead. I guess I'll go over the support levels just in case any of you are in this Russell trade on SimpleFX. 786 at 1719, 886 at 1694. The 1 fib at 1675, okay? 1675, and you're just watching this fall down. It's going to bounce at some level, make some turbulence, maybe make a little top and then fall back down again, or it could just keep falling down. Your June lows, guys, that's your target. Losing those June lows, you're going deeper, okay? Let's bounce over to S&P. S&P market pattern, already went over this, guys. Let's go ahead and look at it on the daily. Daily time frame, if we look at the S&P, we have fallen below the 886 at 3766. You're just trying to hold it here for support. Your 1 fib's at 3716. Your 1618 is at 3443. But I always back out and go look at my weekly pattern, my weekly Fibonacci. Okay, this is more powerful to look at. So I see price could find weekly support at 3733. The 618 lining up with my double S curve. Most importantly, lining up with the 200 moving average. Okay, is at 3593. Price can easily come down here and bounce. It could bounce up significantly, or it could just make some turbulence and then roll back down, okay? This is what we're looking at. You may get a reflection here at 35.93. One thing I can promise you with 100% certainty, I mean, I am 100% certain as the day is long. When we get to this number, let me show you a cheat sheet here. You guys that are sadistic, it'd be masochistic. Masochistic's when you take the punishment, right? Sadistics when you give the punishment. Well, anyways, if you guys are masochistic, watch this number right here and turn on CNBC. This will be a lot of fun. If you're in America, there's a BBC version or a CNBC Worldwide. It's the business news. It's full of permabulls. They'll have 1 or 2 guys on the whole day that actually have a market view that's valid. When you get to this number, 3141, Wall Street, business, CNBC, Bloomberg, they're going to go ape shit. And they all are thinking this is the bottom. Okay, they all will think this is the bottom. them. And when I say all, I mean 99% of them. This is how bubbles trap everybody, like .com and '08. This is why banks and investment firms go bankrupt, okay? Because they don't see it. They will all think this is a bottom because this would represent a what percentage drawdown? Let's get the drawdown price here of this asset. This would represent a drawdown of 34, almost 35%. The average drawdown of the S&P in a recession. They will think this is the bottom. They will all buy. Expect a super significant rally here to occur. Could go higher than this level, but it will be a rally that fails. You'll be back testing the 200, the 233 in this region here, and you will get the next leg down when that occurs. But watch that area of 3,100. You will see TV go absolutely mental, okay? Let's go ahead and flip over to the NASDAQ really quickly. NASDAQ market pattern, and we just lost the 618 at 11,831. We are dropping to our 200 and 233. Do you see that? Let's go ahead and turn this bigger projection on here and get some additional fib levels. Let's see where the 382.5, 786, 1R. Throw these on here. You just fell through the 382, 11,532, and you're dropping, and you're probably going to find support at that 10,855 if you drop all the way down there, but you're going to bounce off that 200, 233. That's very significant support on a weekly time frame. You can see here from your pandemic low, you bounced off of it as well. I expect a bounce there, guys, some type of bounce. If not, I mean, again, with the Shemitah ending, expecting decline all the way through October until near the end of October where we will have a false bottom. You could see a power move to fall right through here like we did in the 2008 Great Financial Crisis. You could see that power move, but I expect some turbulence there, but we shall see. NASDAQ on the daily, again, one of my trades that I posted. I mean, look at this. It's just a diagonal of decline. You see this? So you're at the 786, 11,456, looking for this to decline further. 886 at 11,275, the one fib at 11,069. You need to watch that one fib because that's your June lows, okay? Significant is your June lows for that support because if you break that, you're dropping further down. Let's go ahead and see what gold and silver are doing. We'll jump into Bitcoin. I mean, gold, every time I show you this chart, it's basically the same. It's either declining or it's hovering at that 1672 level here, gold, okay? And this is what I told you where I would be buying gold at 1425 as the dollar skyrockets on its way back up to 121, just like in the Y2K crash, okay? This will continue to decline. Looking at silver projections, trend-based fibs, same way I did gold, guys, looking at 12 spot 85. That's what I'm looking at for silver. And let's go ahead and jump over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, Dante's Descent. We have Dante's Descent. Price moving down, 11 bar drops, 9 bar run-ups. These are weekly bars, 20 bars between swing highs. No swing high was defeated. This pattern, which nobody else has on YouTube, is tracking 100%. There's not a single penny that violated this pattern, okay? Not a candle wick, nothing, not a speck. So you have your tops tracking all the way. And of course, I keep pointing this out, but I told you guys to short up here, or I suggested I would be shorting up here at 48,240, capturing a 64% decline. And what you're doing now is working your way down to the 1618 at 10,591, okay? That's what we're working down to. The pattern is intact, which means if this pattern continues to track true, you will not defeat 25,214. So if you watch other people's videos and they're telling you pump to 30, pump to 35, pump to 50, just keep in mind you've been tracking in this pattern since the all-time high and you've never defeated the previous swing high, and this swing high is at 25,214. Then we will have a 9-bar run up. Again, a 50% drop down, 50% move up, and there's our target, the 1618. Looking at this on the daily, as you can see, we're just flirting with the 618 here, right? So we're just flirting with the 618, holding this line, and you're going to continue to hold this line, I think, until the Russell, which is getting close, the S&P, the NASDAQ, when they sweep those June lows, that's what you need to look for, because when that happens, you're going to see Bitcoin start making its moves down, okay? And of course, that next level after the 18,646, the one fib is right here at 16,083. If we want to throw on the secondary support levels, Let's get the 886, 786, just so you guys can get some numbers. 786 is at 17.5, 886 is at 16.8. Okay, but again, your bias would be to come down to that 1 fib, a 100% retracement for the move. And then, of course, the 1618 at 11,937, which you guys have already heard a lot of people calling for 12K Bitcoin, right? Well, you have the 1618 that there on a projection, but we have the massive projection on the weekly time frame showing 10,591. So that's what I'm sticking with, okay? And let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin on a chart. This is a very noisy chart. A grid overlay, but you can see I have these speed resistance fans. I'm just looking at it on the 8-hour time frame. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, I just went ahead and threw a parallel channel on here. You got some big wick movements out the top and bottom. This obviously was the Fed rally, the attempted Fed rally. The markets at first wanted to rally, then they spike dumped, and then they came back up and dumped again. So you can throw this parallel channel on there, and you can see Bitcoin's hitting it. It's respecting the channel pretty well. So it's worth watching. I'm just watching it go up and down. But for me, again, that trigger, when you really want to be looking at Bitcoin, that trigger is going to be when those June lows are met or lost in the indices, okay? And let's go ahead and look at the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, just threw a Fibonacci projection here, small wave projection, as you can see highlighted here. And all I'm doing is looking to see if we defeat that 618. We just keep coming up to it, tapping it. But what you're making here, always look at your shapes, okay? On the 1-hour time frame, what are you making? You come back up again, or you just roll over, you're making a double top, okay? So you can always look for trade entries when you look at the direction of the markets. Now, if those markets start to bottom and try to hold a bottom, then this might hold for support, and you might see some movement back up. But again, if these markets start pulling down, especially next week, guys, expecting accelerated declines to continue from here on out as we wrap up the Shemitah year going into the middle of October. Accelerated declines is what I expect. So when you see shapes, even on a small time frame, like the 1-hour time frame, pay attention, okay? Because this can lead to exaggerated losses because the macro market where all the money's trading is pulling down, okay? So watch your 1-hour time frame. Now let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum, we have, what do we got here? Ethereum, we've been declining. We found support here at the 886 at 1249. I showed you guys this breakout. Your money flow is oversold here on the daily time frame. But again, macro market structure, market cycles are going to control the movement of your altcoins, okay, and of Bitcoin. So Ethereum, you can see, is on a decline. Now, I told you guys I was going to give you targets, and I didn't do that. I didn't get those charts ready because I've been very busy with the business, with our room. By the way, if you guys want to trade with us, you can click the join button underneath the YouTube video there, and definitely check out our sponsors, BITGET and SimpleFX. Links are in the video description. You have to use our links to get our bonuses, and it helps support this channel. Oh, one more thing, and we're going to do the alts. Guys, we were like 160 subs away from 25K, which would be a huge, I guess, win for us because we started this channel June of 2021, okay? We got almost 25,000 subs. So if there's 160 people out there watching that don't always watch, but sometimes watch, or maybe you're brand new, make sure you hit the sub button. If you really want to get over 25K, just for the fun of it, be nice to get over 25K. It's kind of a win. And make sure you hit the little alert bell thing as well, so you get notified of our videos, because sometimes I say too many words I'm not allowed to say, and you're not going to get my video popping up in your feed. It is a way they punish you, just like our alien video we did the other day, guys. So many of you typed in, why is it 480p? It's because we uploaded clips, and YouTube would not run it in HD. But at that point, we had already done all the work, so we went ahead and played it because it still looked good on the phone. But yeah, we check it. We check the clips now. But some of the clips have copyright issues, and they punish you by not allowing you to play it in HD, things like that. So it's a lot of fun being on YouTube, which is why I want all of you guys to come to our Rumble as well. All right, let's go ahead and look at the weekly on Ethereum, and we'll look at the weekly on XRP and ADA as well, okay? This is BitGet. We got to get a further back chart. Let's get ETH. We got to go crypto, and we'll get Binance chart. There we go. So weekly chart, you know, this is the first time I'm looking at it, obviously, but so what I would do here, I mean, you're looking at the same levels that Bitcoin would be looking at, okay? So I would probably look at this a couple of different ways for a trend projection. I'm going to use the law of three pattern, which is going to be a trend-based fib, right? So I'm going to start at the all-time high, come down to that first swing low, then come up to this swing high. I want to see how my fibs lay out. I want to see if it looks good, if you're getting hits on these fibs, if it's trading pretty accurately. And, you know, obviously if you get a projection on your 1618 that's minus 802, that's, you can kind of disregard that projection, but what you're looking at then is a 100% retracement of the move at 871, right? So you can be looking at that, but that's where your price is now. So you can do this different ways. You can also use fib retracements when you're looking at these macro projections, and you can also use, let's try this way. Let's go from that first high there, first all-time high. Is that one lower? Let's see, that price is 1706. This price is 1700. So here up to here. This gets you down to 544.32. Okay, this is kind of how we have that Bitcoin layout too, right? That first surge, then we have the dip in the market, and then the all-time high. So you can do this different ways. You can also pull a fib retracement, but the fib retracement is just going to bring you back to the 100. You know, my theory in general, guys, for all of you asking for these various altcoins, is everything's going back in the crypto space to those pandemic lows. So if your favorite altcoin was 3 cents in the pandemic lows, and right now it's 20 cents or 30 cents, my theory is going to be it's going back to the pandemic lows, okay? But this gets you back at 544.32, and where's the pandemic low? Right here, March 2020. So that would still be above the pandemic low. So I wouldn't be surprised if this did not hold, okay? But I think you're at 1305. As Bitcoin descends, you could easily come down to this number, okay? You have a double top right here that just formed on the weekly time frame. You see that? You got a double top, it broke. You got support here. What is that, the 233? That is the 233. So you're resting on the 233. If you start falling down, when Bitcoin loses its support, which is when the indices lose their support for the June low, watch for Ethereum to defeat its June low, okay? Its June low could easily be defeated right over here, just when the indices defeat their June low, and this will be tracking down, coming down to that 544 level. And that may be where you get to on October 31st. Again, I don't have this tracked one-to-one to Bitcoin, okay? But I do have Bitcoin going down by roughly 50%. So if you look at that number, 50% of 1300 or 1400, so you're looking at 600 or 700 coming down. So 544 seems reasonable. Seems reasonable to me. But key takeaway again, guys, is everything is going to be cheaper, okay? Everything's going to be cheaper. So let's do ADA. And we'll just do ADA. We'll throw ADA on here really quickly. And it's going to be the same setup. You can see this. They're all going to follow that same double spike pattern, right? So your 1618, you're already below your 1618 using the trend-based fib of that fashion. So let's try this. 8 is 45 cents. Man, it seems like literally, what, just yesterday. But it wasn't yesterday. But it seems very recently that ADA was like, what, $3? I mean, you have to play around with your fibs here to see what the best layout is. I don't know. ADA, this is a different chart here. Let's look. Let's do 22 cents brings you back to, what is that right here? This is January 2021. What did I use? Binance chart? I don't even know when ADA came into existence. August 2020? Well, I mean, this would bring you back to the very beginning. So 22 cents, again, is half price of basically where it's at now. So I could easily see that. Bitcoin gets cut in half. Ethereum roughly gets cut in half. ADA gets cut in half. You're looking at 22 cents, okay? And again, you can play with this different ways. You can try different trend-based fib projections from different wave patterns and see if something makes more sense to you. Look at your hits that you get. But, you know, everything, guys, should roughly be coming down by half. Obviously, with altcoins, it can be more, it can be less. It just depends how they track to Bitcoin, okay? And let's look at XRP really quickly. XRP, Binance. XRP is getting a little bit of a pump action, huh? All right, so let's do some XRP. We're going to take the all-time high, not in this cycle, down to your swing low, up to your swing high. And in this case, you lost your 618. As a matter of fact, this is your 150 moving average pumping up to your 618 at 51 cents. Watch that level because that's going to be a good resistance level right there, okay? Looking at this, again, your projections of coming down to the March of 2020 would roughly be right here. You see that? That'd be like your pandemic low, which would be 12 cents. 12 cents. It's at 46 cents. So sometime next year, you could be at 12 cents on XRP. Now, all of these coins and projects, they all have different cases, right? I mean, literally, there's a case with XRP. If that case gets resolved, it could be a catalyst for a pump. These coins could pump independently of each other, pump independently of Bitcoin. I'm just giving you targets based on fib wave projections, based on the concept that Bitcoin is going down by half by the end of October, okay? So just keep that in mind because all of these things, Bitcoin's still the biggest market cap in the crypto space, and when it falls, it's gonna pull everything down with it. But in general, your target is going to be in that pandemic low range for the ultimate bottom, okay? The ultimate bottom. But we'll see where you get to as Bitcoin declines, and we'll do some more zoomed in TA on these altcoins. Maybe I'll start doing a separate video for those for you guys because we are 34 minutes in, and I think it's Thursday, and you guys are probably gonna kill me watching this video. All right, guys, so good night, good luck. Another video coming soon. Watch for the accelerated decline, my friends.